Hi, I'm Senée, the Princess Guide. Thank you all so much for joining me. I'm so happy you're here. In case you don't know me, I'm a qualified mental health professional, life coach, and book author. If you'd like to get an autographed copy of one of my books, especially The Princess Guide to Loving Yourself First, or if you'd like for me to work with you personally, all the information is in the description box. Now, let's talk about life. And today is Self-Love Sunday. So we're going to talk about what self-love actually is and what it is not. So grab your favorite beverage while I take a sip of tea. First of all, some people will try to tell you that self-love is selfish, and that is so far from the truth. It is not. I'm often talking about the difference between being in service to self and being in service to others. People who are in service to self are selfish. They're looking only for what's going to benefit them the most, what they're going to get out of someone or something. That's all they care about. Someone who's in service to others doesn't necessarily mean that they're selfless. It just means that they have a very, very solid understanding of the kingdom within. They love themselves first, and because of that, they have enough love to give to others. So that's how being in service to others is different, because quite honestly, how can you give to someone if you have nothing to give to begin with? So, let's just get into it. Let's get into it. I really want to explain and show you the research behind what self-love actually is. But I also want to show you what it isn't, because most of the time when you see people, I've often said people who are selfish or in service to themselves, they don't love themselves, really, to be quite honest. And I've had people tell me, no, you're wrong, they love themselves too much. But quite honestly, I think they don't have a healthy sense of what self-love is. So therefore, they're going outside of themselves to try and get what is lacking because they haven't done the internal work. And oftentimes this manifests as it manifests as personality disorders, which does come up in behavior. So let's get into it and let me show you. As I was writing The Princess Guide to Loving Yourself First, I had an internal crisis and just had to stop writing. I found myself asking, what exactly is love? And has anyone in my life ever really loved me truthfully, unconditionally? I'll answer those questions in a minute. Just stay tuned. During this time, I had an encounter with someone from my past. This person was spewing negativity at me because of something I had written. It isn't the first time that has happened, but my reaction was much different this time. Had this encounter taken place a year or two earlier, I would have gone into pleasing mode and trying to explain and justify myself. This time, however, I found myself angry. Then I realized that the person had not changed, nor had done any internal work to change. I didn't respond at all because this person was not treating me with love, compassion, or even common decency. I realized right away that I wasn't being approached properly, and I needed to stay on my throne with my crown on and not respond. I sent this person silent well wishes, but refused to be moved. In fact, it was just what I needed to spur me into action to finish the book, and it was an act of love that I showed to myself. Now, I'll admit it, I've struggled with loving myself for the majority of my life. I watched Hallmark and Hollywood movies that told me the only way to find true love and happiness was if someone outside myself loved and approved of me. I believed it. I thought I had to be pleasing and perfect to receive unconditional love. However, no matter what I did or how correctly I performed, I never experienced that love, for very long at least. I now know, after more than 4 decades on this planet, that this is false. True, lasting, real love comes first and foremost from within. Loving yourself is, in my personal and professional opinion, the most important key to happiness in life and relationships. I know what it's like to have people tell you through their words and actions that you have no worth and are not lovable. I also know what it's like to break out of that programming and no longer allow others to control your thinking in life. Love shouldn't hurt. We know that real, unconditional, perfect love casts out all fear, according to 1 John 4:18. Fear is the lowest, most negative energy there is, and it's what negative entities feed on. Negative people get a kick out of producing it in others because it makes them feel powerful over them. Back to love. It is patient, kind, long-suffering, not selfish, not boastful. It never fails, according to 1 Corinthians 13:4-5. So what does love really mean? Webster Illustrated Contemporary Dictionary defines love as a strong, tender affection, deep devotion, the affection felt by two persons who are sexually attracted to one another, a person who is the object of another's affection, a very great interest or fondness. The Greeks divided love into 3 elements, wrote Frank D. Cox in Human Intimacy. Eros is the physical sexual side of love. It is needing, desiring, and wanting the other person physically. Agape is the altruistic, giving, non-demanding side of love. Agape is an unconditional affirmation of another person. It is the desire to care, help, and give to the loved one. It is unselfish love. Philos is the love found in deep and enduring friendships. It is also the kind of love described in the Bible as love thy neighbor as thyself. It can be deep friendship for specific people, or it can be a love that is generalized to all people, he wrote. Love is the chief thing in life, wrote Dr. Wayne Dyer in Your Sacred Self. It is the essence of the universe. It is the glue that holds everything together. It is the substance of your higher self. Obviously, for the purposes of this discussion, we will not be talking about Eros love, but we will be applying the principles of agape and philos love to loving ourselves first. The better we know our own attitudes and definitions of love, the better we will become in making long-lasting, intimate relationships, Cox wrote. When speaking about self-love, also referred to in psychological circles as self-compassion, researchers are finding it not only to be the key to positive mental health, but also the key to life. Though the term self-compassion may sound like self-indulgence or may even feel like a weakness, it is actually the secret to resilience, strength in the face of failure, the ability to learn from mistakes, and to bounce back with greater enthusiasm, wrote Dr. Emma Seplica. Self-compassion involves treating oneself as one would a friend, being more mindful and understanding our situation in the context of a larger human experience. When we can be more understanding and gentler with ourselves, identify less with the emotions that surround our mistakes, and understand that failure is a normal part of the larger human experience, we become stronger and more successful in the long run. The state of your life depends on the state of your mind, so be kind to yourself, she concluded. I know a lot of people who demand perfection from others, causing those people to believe that they have to be perfect to be loved. So, they try with all their might to be perfect. But did you know that being a perfectionist is dangerous to your mental and physical health? Studies have shown that perfectionists are at a higher risk of several illnesses, both physical and mental. and that self-compassion might free us from its grip, wrote Anna Sanderyu for Medical News Today. Therefore, perfectionism and self-compassion are intrinsically linked, she shared. Kristen Neff, a researcher, author of Self-Compassion, and professor of human development at the University of Texas at Austin, reminds us, love, connection, and acceptance are your birthrights. To be clear, self-love is not the same as being self-absorbed, narcissistic, or egotistical. Merriam-Webster defines egotism as an exaggerated sense of self-importance, conceit. People diagnosed with antisocial personality disorder often display these attributes. They also typically have little or no remorse for causing pain to others and a consistent pattern of blaming others for what happens to him or her, according to the Complete Adult Psychotherapy Treatment Planner. Narcissistic personality disorder is defined by the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, 5th edition, also known as the DSM-5, as a pervasive pattern of grandiosity, need for admiration, and lack of empathy, beginning by early adulthood and present in a variety of contexts. Furthermore, the DSM-5 describes some of the features of histrionic personality disorder to include someone who is uncomfortable in situations in which he or she is not the center of attention, consistently uses appearance to draw attention to self, shows self-dramatization, theatrically and exaggerated expressions of emotion, also known as a drama queen or drama king, and is suggestible, meaning easily influenced by others or circumstances. Okay, let's take a minute to do an exercise. Ask yourself the following questions and answer as honestly as possible. Do I display to others that I am more important than anyone else? Do I put my wants and needs above others? Do I constantly look for ways to serve myself? Do I have little or no remorse for hurting the feelings of others? Do I constantly blame others for what happens to me? Do I have a pattern of presenting myself extravagantly to others? Do I have a need for attention from everyone I encounter? Do I lack compassion for others more often than not? Do I feel uncomfortable in situations where I'm not the center of attention? Do I constantly use my appearance to draw attention to myself? Do I show self-dramatization, have exaggerated expressions of emotion, or act like a drama queen or king? Do I find myself easily influenced by others or circumstances? If you answered yes to any of these, ask yourself, what are my underlying motives? What am I hoping to gain from this behavior? Is this behavior negatively affecting the people around me? Once you find answers to these questions, then you can begin formulating a plan to change. Seeking the help from a mental health professional or coach is useful in this process. In case you don't know, I am available to aid in the process. You can find my contact information in the description box. If you're self-aware enough to identify with any of these personality disorder features, there is hope for you. Learning to love yourself in a healthy way will help to strengthen existing relationships and attract new ones. You must be willing to humble yourself, take a good honest look at your behavior and thinking patterns, then make the necessary changes. Healthy self-belief is not narcissism, bragging, or boasting. Rather, it is a realistic but optimistic evaluation of yourself and your abilities, and a sense of trust and confidence in yourself, wrote Courtney E. Ackerman for Positive Psychology. I talk about being royal all the time, By that, I do not mean controlling, manipulating, or ruling others. My definition of someone who is royal, a princess in my case, is a person of high integrity who acts in ways of loving kindness to his or herself and others. This person is full of grace, peace, empathy, and love. It is my professional and personal opinion that we are all special, unique, important, and lovable. We all have distinctive gifts to offer the world and those around us. Therefore, we are all the same. It is when a person lacks empathy for others and exploits others for his or her own gain that their energy and vibration becomes negative. We should be in this existence to serve others, not to serve ourselves. When you fill your cup to please and promote yourself only, you are not acting in self-love at all, and it becomes these negative attributes already mentioned. Christ said in Matthew 19:19, "Love your neighbor as you love yourself." If you don't love yourself first, you can't love others in a pure, positive way. It's like being on an airplane. They tell you that in the event of an emergency to put your oxygen mask on first, then help those around you. If you don't have oxygen, you will not survive and you will not have the energy to help those around you. This is a perfect example of why loving yourself first is so important. So here's to your self-love journey. May you have a strong knowing of your kingdom within. Exhibit love to yourself first, then share that love with others in your world. Okay, I need y'all to look me in my eyes for this part because what I'm about to say is really important. So look me in my eyes when I get ready to tell you this. You are so powerful. You have no idea how stinking powerful you are. You are so powerful that you can create any change you want to see in your life. And on top of that, you can manifest the love that you're looking for. Let's face it, you got to start by loving yourself first. And that means that you've really got to listen to yourself. Just like you would any friend, any person in your life who you love. If something was wrong with them, you would instantly ask, what's going on? What's wrong? How can I help you? And that's exactly what you need to say to yourself. So I want you to spend the next couple of days just really listening to yourself, really paying attention to your feelings. And then once those things come up, then I want you to ask yourself, what can I do to make things better for you? On top of that, I want you to go look in the mirror and tell yourself that you love yourself. And in case anyone hasn't told you today, I'll be the first one to say it. I love you. I think you're magnificent. You're so powerful, and I'm so proud of you. So keep doing the next right thing. Bye. Thank you again for watching. I'm so grateful for you, and I appreciate you spending your time with me. If you found this helpful or insightful, please like, subscribe, share with your friends, and join me for another episode soon. Remember, if you'd like to have the princess guide you and have me work with you personally, you can log on to theprincessguide.com. That's theprincessguide.com. Until next time, keep your crown on and stay on your throne.